So for right now, we just got discussions. No class on Monday for Dr. King, which is a nice 3-day weekend. Any other questions before we begin? All right, so we're gonna get into a little bit of order of operations, a little bit of math, right? Nothing too tricky. Simple stuff. You just focus on how things are ordered, how to place things. It shouldn't be that difficult. So you guys are consumers. Right now, right here. What are you consuming?
Knowledge.
Yeah, knowledge. But in reality, you bought something. You purchased something, right? You purchased something. What did you purchase?
Gatorade for the look at. Gatorade for the look at.
Yeah, Gatorade. Literally, you're here in this classroom. You are a consumer right now. You paid money, right? Put up some money for what?
Education.
Yes. You pay for institutional education. Institution, the company, what you call it, right? Maybe non-for-profit, which I believe Concordia is, not-for-profit. Could be a for-profit university or college. Which those things, like we say, for-profit versus non-profit, some of those for-profit entities owned by the major parent corporations listed on the stock exchange, right? Concordia, not listed in the stock, not-for-profit, doesn't have shareholders, everybody owns stock. Concordia. You guys showed up and say, hey, I wanna purchase something from Concordia, education. You are a customer of education. Concordia is supplying it. I think that, so we could just relate it to Concordia and say, well, how efficient is it? How many students in this class? Right, one professor, X amount of students, I don't know, 22, 25 or something like that. What are some of the inputs that go into it? What are some of the inputs that go into you guys as part of Concordia delivering this product of institutional education that you're buying? Remember, we're just getting the processing. You know, we could apply it to anything from end to end to give an end result to something you purchase, product or service. I showed up, hey, Concordia accepted me, yada, yada, yada. I'm going to Concordia, 2, 3, 4 years, whatever. Buying something, right? Whether you got the student loan or you're paying for it yourself, well, it doesn't matter. Somebody's paying for it. At the end of the day, you're paying for it. So you're consuming something. So how did Concordia supply this education? What are some of the inputs in order to deliver this final product to you? Yeah, right? Remember we say just, you know, it's not that complicated. Just observe what you see, right? Just yell out the first answer that pops in your mind. Don't think too difficult. It's not to me. It has to be complex. Like this stuff is simple. If you just really think of it simple. You provided a building, you showed up to the building. You provided a classroom, you showed up to the classroom. You provided electricity, keep the lights on, technology for you to do this, right? Provided a professor. They provided a textbook, right? For you to follow. So at the end of the day, you're consuming all of this as part of your purchase of Concordia's education from this institution, right? So the Concordia is the process and the corporation supplying you something, you guys are the consumers. Now we have to just think about when we move, looking at other companies, what are the inputs, what's the output? The output here is education delivered to individuals who want the education, who demand it. Not they don't show up, they don't demand it, right? What you pay for this education versus what other universities pay for education, right? You may have made a choice as a consumer to be like, I don't want it there, it's too expensive, that's the difference, right? Or you may have just said like, I was able to get into 3 schools, I picked Concordia out of 3, right? Or as closest to my. As a consumer, you made that decision of what's important to you, and now Concordia has to market that too, right? To keep you here too, like, hey, what we offer enough, does it keep you at Concordia? And transfer and go somewhere else? So this is all a business. All of this business. Mostly everything you see around you is a business. Alright, so we say external suppliers and external customers, external suppliers, right? You guys are external customers. Maybe I'm an internal customer, right? I consume from Concordia, right? But you guys are external. You're the final result where the product, the service goes to. And then we got support processes. You got the IT department here at Concordia, right? Do all the technology and issues, upload Blackboard. You got the registrars, right? Register you for your classes, making sure you're on schedule to take everything you need so that you graduate in May and get out of here. Move on with your life. We got the facilities, the people who swap out the chairs for events or classrooms, all of that thing. So we got support processes. So here we got new service product development. What could be, for Concordia, what could be a new service or product that they could develop to attract more students to consume education? Right, they gotta get people together to be like, who are running the school to be like, man, how do we attract more students? So we can get more of your money. Yes?
New classes?
Hmm?
New classes?
New classes, right? Yeah, maybe they offer more classes, right? Or maybe they offer a new class, like you're saying, right? A new topic they didn't offer before. Maybe it wasn't relevant then, now it is, right? Maybe they get coding and things like that. So new programs, right? They can offer new programs. Hey, we didn't have nursing, now we have it. We didn't have engineering before, now we got it. Right? We didn't have political science before, now we have it. Right? And they also work too, I think of even with the business program, with the highest certifications, AASCB, and that's the highest certification for a business school, right? So whoever's under their classification, you're in the top tier of Harvard, Stanford, you're in the same class. So they're also striving to make the business program better too. They have to keep improving this process. So when the regulatory bodies come into play, you know what, you guys meet the standards. So when they market that, we're like, hey, we're one of the best business schools in Chicago, in the world, whatever, right? So this is all the process too of marketing too. So we're gonna apply this to several different companies, look at the inputs and the outputs, keep that in mind. This is operations, so you're constantly trying to understand what is an input, what's an output, right? What qualifies, what doesn't qualify. So that we could look at things today, how efficient are things run? Because we could look at Concordia and, you know, maybe me as an observation of being here for a little bit is like, oh man, that's a lot of weights. Maybe, who knows? Or maybe like, man, Concordia actually runs really well. I like this school. Which is a good school, great school. So the supplier relationship process, a process that selects the supplier of services, materials, information, and facilitates the timely and efficient flow of these items. there's a lot of preparation in getting the classes together from semester to semester. It happens way before you guys show up. You have to get the professors ready for whoever's gonna teach their class, order the textbook, figure out what textbooks, create the syllabus, create the course online on Blackboard, right? So we need a lot of process from the suppliers to help that. Whether it be people on Blackboard supplying to build it up, the classroom, or in-house. And we just talked about new service product development, process that designs and develops new services or products from inputs from external customer specifications of the market, assessing the market, see what everybody wants now, what are some of the trends, and how we start to create something new from scratch with our capital in order to service that. And think of order fulfillment. To keep it simple, you can maybe think of like inventory process, right? Or maybe Amazon or something of the sort. Process that includes the activities required to produce and deliver the service or product to the external customer, right? Amazon has all these big distribution warehouses. Anybody work for Amazon here, or have worked for Amazon? How was it? Tell me about something about like observing the processes.
It's pretty strict as, when people say like there's no breaks or anything, it's really fast paced, intense, a lot of labor, a lot of picking up boxes, moving boxes. They find you on your phone and give you strikes, and if enough strikes will lead to a deduction. Just long hours, you know. Your breaks are only like 10 minutes long.
Mm-hmm.
And they're very far and few between.
Yeah, like you gotta go to the, I've known a few people that work there, like you gotta go to the bathroom, it's like way, maybe it could be way
Yeah.
on the other side. of the
Yeah,
place.
and they keep track of how long you're gone for, so.
Yeah. So think of that, right? Okay, think of that. Amazon non-unionized, right? There's no union, which would support all that. Okay, some of this is ridiculous for an average human being to be doing every day for years. And so, thinking from process of order fulfillment, you're like, wow, we do a great job, because you guys aren't complaining about the time you get your product, right? But from an internal perspective, you're like, this may be able to go on. And it may be unionized, right? The government may force it to be, because this is highly inefficient. It's efficient from productivity's sake, because it gets you the product. Hey, it showed up yesterday, whenever. You're happy, the customer's happy. But the internal process is horrible, because the people are not happy, right? And eventually, it'll erode, decay, or it'll just, it'll start to really maybe hurt their reputation. People start to look at them as maybe like, the iPhone workers in Shenzhen, China, produce an iPhone, and may come up with some human rights issues. But you have to look at just the end result. Now they're non-unionized, so maybe there's nothing to care about. We're just looking like, is the process sufficient? Do you get your product in a timely manner? The answer is yes, it's Amazon, right? They have a huge distribution network for getting transportation there as quickly as possible. And then customer relationship process that identifies, attracts, and builds relationship with external customers and facilitates the placement of orders by customers. What are some sort of customer relationship processes you see out there? From your jobs, or where you work, or where you observe? Just think of regular stores. Yes?
It'd be like the rewards programs, a lot of people say.
Yeah, absolutely, right? Rewards programs. They're giving you a benefit to attract you to either purchase more things or return back at a later date for some way. Definitely you're getting some sort of benefit, and that's their way of creating the relationship. Hey, we communicate with you. We send you the email newsletter. Did you subscribe to that? Think of this, you walk into Jewel, you walk into Costco, you walk into wherever, You're like, why is my phone signal so horrible in these places? Why?
Because they don't want you to look at Amazon or online retailers to buy the products.
I mean, that could be the case, it could be, yes.
They want you to connect to their Wi-Fi and put in your contact information.
Yeah. Right, you get no signal, maybe one bar, you try to look up something, maybe try to look up like a promotional code, discount code or something. You can't really do it, right? They want you to log into their Wi-Fi so they could get some of your information, right? With that, they can maybe even track your movement in the store. Where did you stop? Why'd you stop right there? Okay, a lot of people are looking at this side, right? A lot of people are in aisle 8 looking at things. They're able to actually see, if you're logged in, what you were looking for too. Oh man, a lot of people search looking for this about our store, this product or service in the store while we were in here. So they do this on purpose, right? Purposely done so they can get information and build a relationship for them. Right? You can call it whatever, unethical or whatever. That's a whole nother story. But that's their way of kind of formulating a relationship with you. Maybe you didn't want it at the beginning or didn't know, but that's another relationship process, right? Think of Apple stores, right? You go in the store, you go to the Genius Bar, you sit down, you talk, you communicate, you laugh, you look at the product, you look at all this stuff. You're creating a relationship and experience with Apple, right? This is beyond just the product, it's Apple. It's like this whole entire experience. Maybe you might buy something extra. By the way, to replace your headphones for free. You're like, man, I love this place, right? They gave me one for free. So all of that is part of customer relationship processes, right? And we talked about support processes, accounting, finance, human resources, all these things. Examples of business processes that have external customers or suppliers, pretty simple to understand: outsourcing, warehousing, sourcing, customer service, logistics, cross-docking. All right, what's market segmentation, right? We're talking about market analysis. Understand what the customers want and how to provide it. What's segmentation? And where have you seen it? How do you segment your market as a company? Yes.
Probably determine your specific audience that you're catering to.
You said Terminator?
No, determining your audience that you're.
Yeah, absolutely, right? You're breaking things up into categories. You're breaking things up by demographics, breaking things up by age, right? Just all different demographic categorizations you could think of, right? You may break things up by gender, sex, things like that. We got a women's line, we got a men's line, right? We got stuff kind of for the older people. Oh, this is stuff we provide kind of for the younger people. But they're all very similar things. So, you know, women, men's clothing, still clothing, right? So there's a commonality there, but you just divide the commonality. You can see this kind of, okay, if you go to McDonald's, you travel around the world, you're like, man, it's still McDonald's, still looks like McDonald's. It's still selling hamburger. But it's different here. It's for this culture, right? So this culture is for this language. For this, they tweaked it a little bit, right? They didn't put ketchup here in France, or the French people. Or they call it something else, right? Very similar product, but they tweak it a little bit. You can see this actually in certain, even in the United States, if you travel different parts of the country, you can serve McDonald's in certain ethnic areas, minority areas, or even KFC, Popeyes, what have you. Like, man, the menu is different. The menu's catered to the people that live here, right? Still KFC, still Popeyes, whatever. It's still got similar stuff. But they tweak it for where they exist, right? Catering to the people that's in that target demographic. So that's market segmentation. You're differentiating your product or your service based on the difference of the people who want to buy it and actually where that thing is located, the product or the service. What's a needs assessment? Not what is it? Let me put this, what do we think needs assessment is? Yes?
Could that be like what the market like is needing at the moment, like what is like popular at the time, or what like their consumers might need?
Yeah, absolutely. Think of, that's always the goal. So think of your goal is to always meet the current standard of what people want, what people need, versus what you actually supply right now. So it's a gap. It's okay, we do this right now, but, and things are always changing, people want this. So the needs assessment is how to fill the gap between what we do right now, in the present moment, versus what the market demands right now, right? It's constantly changing, evolving. So you look to analyze, well, who are the people that's changing it, right? Maybe it's the younger crowd, okay, we need to switch things up and sort of target the younger group of people, right? Maybe people demand more cheaper things right now, bad economy. Maybe things demand more quality from a certain product, or what have you. Competitive priorities are critical dimensions that a process or supply chain must possess to satisfy its external customers, both now and future. And competitive capabilities is the cost, quality, time, and flexibility dimensions that process. Actually, these are pretty simple to understand. We must satisfy the needs for customers as a priority. And here, the cost and time and flexibility actually possess to deliver that final thing. All right, this is what they call order winners and qualifiers, right? So let's look at Costco. Who shops at Costco? Who likes Costco? Why do you like Costco? Tell me about Costco. What do they do to make you like it?
They got cheap gas and they got that $1 hot dog.
Right, okay, so they got cheap food, right? Altogether, the food's pretty cheap, and you get a lot, right? And the gas is usually pretty cheap. So low cost. You just mentioned dollar hot dog. Who else? Is anybody else for a different reason, or kind of same exact reason? Yeah.
Well, I feel like my answer might be weird, but there is this, these clusters, these almond clusters that they sell under the Kirkland signature brand.
Mhm.
And they're just one of my favorite snacks, so that's kind of the reason why.
So they got something specifically that you're not gonna find anywhere else, that's Kirkland, which is Costco's brand. Yeah, so uniqueness. Okay, okay. You were gonna,
I like how they have like samples like just all around the store.
yeah, I think of that. Like, all of this is building a relationship with you, right? I go to Costco and I enjoy the whole process, right? Get a cheap hot dog, maybe when I'm done. Same time I can try new snacks that, you know, they have and give out for free. All of this is important. All of this is thought out, well thought out as part of their branding. Right, so they got low cost operations. Right, deliver a service or product at the lowest possible cost. Process must be designed and operated to make it efficient. How does Costco achieve low costs versus the other people that they're competing?
Well, Costco makes more money off of their memberships than they do off the sale of their products. If you look at, like, for example, the hot dog, they keep it at $1.50, but they actually take a loss on hot dog, on like
Yeah.
selling the hot dogs, but they make that money back off of people buying membership to get into Costco.
Yeah, there you go. You gotta know somebody with a membership to shop there, right? You can have the little membership card. I got one of those. So Costco locked you in. They locked you in and said, we want some money up front. This is the exact amount, right? For the annual membership or what have you. What else? What else is Costco? Yes.
They might use like cheaper ways to make the products. Like
Cheap.
use like more like generic type things like the Kirkland brand, that way it's like not as, they're not using like the same materials as like name brands.
Yeah, maybe they're not using as many name brands, right? They're using more in-house generic brand to lower the costs. And it saves a lot of money too, right? Because if it's in-house, you kind of have a lot of control, you don't have a bunch of other people with input. What else?
They have everything in bundles, so you're gonna buy more than what you usually get at another store.
Yeah, right, so think that bulk, you're buying at bulk, which just means that the products are bigger, right? They're getting more together, as opposed to when you go to Jewel or Mariano's, thousands of little individual items, right? That rack up. So retail price per unit, like you could look on the sticker and they'll show you the price, right, but you're gonna pay for it. You look at the smaller font, you go, oh, that's the unit price. Nobody looks at that, right? You skip that. It's a bunch of little tiny writing on it. Unit price. So they're able to get a cheaper price per unit, which is bigger, it's in bulk, right? Obviously, you feel like you're getting more bang for your buck, which is why you show up to Costco. And you're exclusive because you're a member and not everybody pays for the membership, right? But that's how Costco's able to do it. The other part is, what does Costco look like when you walk in? What does it actually look like compared to other stores that are competitors? Yeah.
Looks like a warehouse.
Looks like a warehouse, right? That's on purpose. How much money is being saved from that, right? You don't have like an big overnight team putting up all these little tiny boxes on these nice shelves and making everything order, like you would do at Jules and Mariano's, right? Aesthetically, Jules and Mariano's got all these colors and all these signs, and Costco doesn't do all that, right? They keep it very, very simple, not too many employees. You don't see too many employees walking around. Right? So it's very basic, even the floor looks polished concrete. Right? Nothing really over the top. So they cut their expenses and they transfer that low cost to you as the final customer. Rolex. Who here got a Rolex? Or is a fan? No Rolex?
You have a Rolex?
Yeah, I got a few. Sky Dweller, the new Sky Dweller. I got that. I actually bought that in Switzerland too. But Rolexes aren't that expensive. Like literally, they're not ridiculously expensive as you think. But they're awesome watches because it's still like privately made. The other ones, when you see all these other luxury watches, they're normally owned by one parent company that owns like 100 brands. Rolex don't do, which is why Rolex still has its value to a lot of watch people. You know? Okay, so Rolex, delivering an outstanding service or product, top quality, right? You just thought of Rolex, your eyes lit up. Rolex, you know? Because you attribute it to quality and luxury, you know? It means something to you in terms of quality. May require a high level of customer contact and may require superior product features. How so? High level of customer contact. And actually the same way I would say go for Ferrari.
When you go to the store, they make it a personal experience, they walk you through everything.
Yeah, average person just going in there and just saying, hey, I just got money, I want a Rolex, doesn't really do it for Rolex, right? As a brand, they have to uphold this. Oh my gosh, you know, you can look at the tachometer, you can look at this, okay, you know the future. You want somebody who's knowledgeable and interested in Rolex to build a relationship, not somebody who just wants, you know, you want that go on eBay or something like that, right? Rolex wants a high interaction. The same goes with Ferrari. Guess what? Ferrari doesn't sell Ferraris to everybody who got $1 billion or $1 million or a Rattler or whoever. They're not doing that. Ferrari says no. Only certain people can get this car. And if you change anything on this car, you will never be allowed to buy another Ferrari. Don't care if you got $10 billion. Why? Why is Ferrari so authoritative in that way? Why?
because it's like, it's their product, it's like their thing, and they don't want people just doing what they'll do to other people, stuff like that.
Absolutely, right? So they got an image, right? They got an image. You want people who are serious about the car, not just people who got money. Because in the long term, it's proven that that has more value than just, when people start doing that, then Ferraris, you know, this luxury blend, that'll go away, because people change the tires, make it look all crazy and silly, and you'll lose your image of what a Ferrari is truly meant to be, right? It's meant to be what Ferrari created and put out, that's it. Nothing extra that you wanna add. It's not meant to be that. And guess what, you'll pay top dollar for it, right? Because everybody wants to be in group and out group. Either you're in or you're out. Either you got a Ferrari or you don't. You're driving a Ford. And then consistent quality. I don't know if this is true because it's talking about McDonald's. McDonald's, producing services or products that meet design specification on a consistent basis. Processes designed and monitored to reduce errors and prevent defects. Which is true, right? You're gonna typically get the same thing at McDonald's all the time, right? Because the machines are the same, the processes are the same, the timing to heat up the hamburgers is the same everywhere you go, right? Because these are franchisees, thus they have to follow the rules. This is how we create our fries, this is the temperature at which we create our fries, this is how long at that temperature. Why? Because this delivers the final product where everybody wants McDonald's fries. No deviation from that. So it's very, very consistent in how they operate. Is that clock right again? Is it 10:32?
Yeah.
Okay. Questions so far? Netflix, who here has Netflix? What's your favorite shows?
Peaky Blinders.
Peaky Blinders, good one. Come on. Did you guys watch Dahmer? What did you think of Dahmer? Disturbing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to, provide counseling therapy for some Dahmers in my lifetime. Some bad Dahmers, not to get off topic. But some of my research involved, at one point, Mexican drug cartels, right? So down in Mexico, Tamaulipas, Hidalgo, Michoacan, working with understanding sociopaths and hyperviolence, right? Not your typical Chicago violence, people pulling out guns and shooting. You're talking about people being mutilated in 20 different parts and garbage bags while you're on your way to school. Different type of situation, right? So yeah, dealing with psychopaths and sociopaths, and there's a difference between the two. But not to get off topic. Netflix. Design processes to reduce lead time, quickly filling in orders, customer's order, delivery speed. Is this true for Netflix? Is that what they do?
I mean, recently they've lost a couple of like licenses to
Yeah.
shows, so. I
So
mean,
maybe recently they kind of fell off a little bit, right?
they're not top dog anymore.
Yeah. But before they were leading, because they just have so much content, right? It's just adding so much, there's so much stuff half the time you spend looking through stuff to find something to watch and actually watching what you want to watch. So they do provide a lot of content very, very quickly. UPS, on-time delivery, meeting delivery time promises, planning process is used to increase percent of customers' orders shipped when promised. Is that true? You guys satisfied with UPS? They're typically on time? And Zara, who shops at Zara? You like Zara?
Yeah.
What do you like about Zara?
I mean, I think like they adapt or something, it is like the right price.
Yeah, the right price with awesome fashion, right? It looks just like Prada, looks like Dolce, looks like Balenciaga, but you're not paying an arm and a leg. And Zara has the right formula. I think that guy is he the richest person in the world right now? On there? Maybe 1, 2, or 3. He may be top 3 or top 5. Wealthiest person on planet Earth. After Elon lost all his money. Right, so development speed, develop the fashion very, very quickly to keep up with the times. Right, quickly introducing a new product or service, shoes and clothes and bags. Cross-functional integration and involvement of critical external suppliers. Right, so how do they get it done? They have all these suppliers around the world creating the clothing and working with designers a lot faster than a lot of other people, right? Them and H&M, right? Whereas you go somewhere else, they don't have as many products coming out there, spring or summer fashion line. They have to wait a little bit. Because Zara has so much and they're able to do it so quickly. So these typically are just about speed. These are all about speed. They do it quick and they do it good enough to meet the customers. Anyone ever stay at the Ritz-Carlton? Hyatt? Yeah, the Hyatt. But the Ritz may be a little bit more posh, right? So Ritz does low value, close customer contact, and easily reconfigured, which means they don't go as big as the other hotel chains, right? Low value, but they want to talk to people and want to engage with their people who stay there, and they easily can change out things. They can swap you very quickly. They can upgrade you very quickly. Why? Because you're important to them, right? Other hotel chains may not have that luxury to be able to do that. Therefore, the customer experience is less. Satisfying the unique needs of each customer by changing service and product design. Basically, supplying with whatever it is you need. So you go to these places because it's not an issue, right? You pay top dollar to not have issues, right? The less money you pay, there's issues. You pay for bed bugs, right? You pay for them to say, no, late checkout, you gotta get out. You pay for no breakfast, free breakfast or something like that. You can't change things up. It is what it is. And the infamous Amazon, right? Flexibility is they have variety. They're so big, they can offer anything. You can return anything. There's no problem at all. Handling a wide assortment of services and products efficiently, capable of large volumes and processes supporting customization. The large distribution centers are an example of that, right? They just have so many resources they're able to provide more than enough. So it's no issue for them. And then the USPS, which is quasi-governmental, right? It's private, public at the same time. Kind of same thing, accelerating or decelerating the rate of production. They're good, but not as great as like say UPS or Amazon. Questions? What are some other companies you guys are into that you think they have a unique process about themselves? Anything you can think of? Places you buy from online? Places you shop? Nike?
Micro Center?
Yeah, Micro Center used to be huge. Tell me about Micro Center.
Well, they differentiate themselves from other tech stores because they have like their whole like build your own PC like section where you can look at all the parts, check compatibility, like basically all in-house, whereas like at like a Best Buy or something, you kind of just go there and good luck, you kind of on your own.
Yeah, absolutely, right. So, customization, right? They want computer nerds. They want a computer nerd to be like, man, if I build my own, I can get it way cheaper. It's gonna be 10 times more powerful than what Microsoft and Apple and Google had to offer. And it's gonna do exactly what I want it to do, right? As opposed to everybody else that's saying, I just want a laptop. Right? You only got 3 or 4 to choose from, the memory, the hard drive, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, it's more customized and it's for more people who are engaged in the product. not just your typical person. Right, achievement of competitive priority, just simple graph to understand. You got high achievement with your competition, equals higher growth in sales. And threshold is basically, achievement of competitive priority. Anything below, let's say what the average is going on in the market, right? Anything above that is great, anything below that, you're just meeting standards. All right, here, a little bit of math, right? Assessment of billing and payment process. Any of you guys ever worked for billing, payment, credit card companies? No? So here we get 4 different competitive priorities. Low cost operations, right? We want to have low cost, that's what we're doing. Another one wants consistent quality. Another one is more about speed. Another one is more about flexibility, right? So here they use a measure. So when we look at any of these things, we just think about what is the measure being asked to be used about this thing for what they do, right? So cost per billing statement and weekly postage. So they have the capability of about 8 cents cost per billing statement. Weekly postage, they have the capability of 17,000, but their target is 14,000, right? That's the gap, 3,000. Their target is 6 cents, right? They have the capability of getting all the way up to 8 cents. So they're doing, they could be better. They could go down 2 cents. What's the action they take to do that? Eliminate microfilming and storage of billing statements, or develop web-based process for posting bills. Right? So how to get to that lower number? You use web-based postage, right? How do you get to this number to make it low, to be more efficient? Eliminate microfilming and storage of billing statements. I don't wanna continue on with billing payments too much, cause to me that's kind of boring. Let's look at. Alright, some of the big ones we're gonna be using in the class when we're looking at the big one, which is productivity. You hear this in all of economics, all of businesses, all of operations, productivity. How do we measure how productive we are as a company? How do we measure how productive we could be if we change something? How to measure how inefficient we run this thing? How to measure how much more efficient we could be by changing something. So we're just looking at 2 things, the output versus the input. Final product or service, which the customer gets, versus all the stuff, capital, people, etc., that goes into getting that thing, creating that thing. All right, they asked 3 employees process 600 insurance policies in a week. They work 8 hours per day, 5 days a week. What do we think, how will we calculate that? Right, so to measure productivity of this thing, we look at the number of policies processed, 600, and employee hours. 8 hours per day, 5 days a week. How many hours is that?
40.
40. Okay. We also added the number of employees that work 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. So we multiplied 3 employees by 40 hours each per week. That is what? What's 40 times 3?
120.
120. 600 divided by 120 is 5 policies an hour. Right? That's not too complicated. Right? That's not too complicated. In the class, for those of you who are afraid of math and all this stuff, it's not going to be mathematically complicated. It's just about thinking of what's an input, what's an output. Right? Just trying to figure out, okay, which one goes where. So just looking at the problem, figuring out, okay, this belongs here because this relates to that. You can say, well, 5 policies an hour. Is that good? Who knows? We look at our competitors, right? Okay, maybe we're State Farm, we look at Geico, we look at Farmers Insurance, we look at other people. See, typically, how would this relate to them, you know? Do they get 10 policies per hour done, right? With the same amount of employees at the same amount of hours? And then we'd say, okay, well, actually, one company's doing better than another, right? Quickly analyze, as simple as possible. One person's doing, a company is doing more efficient work than we do. That's simple to understand, right? So as a manager, as a CEO, whatever, that's part of your decision making, what to do now. Part of your arguments you bring to the board meetings and all the meetings you have every day, right? Bring just simple facts. Geico does 10, we do 5. Why? With the same number of employees, with the same amount of jobs. Why? What's happening? Anybody here ever work in insurance? What did you do?
I had an internship with Marsh over the summer, and I worked in their environmental department.
Okay. What kind of work did you do?
Just learning about like policies and like claims like with PFAS and asbestos.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting work. There's a lot of people, there's a lot of old homes and buildings that asbestos is never get taken out. Good work. My brother works for the EPA, and he was the lead on the Flint, Michigan crisis. Anybody familiar with that? Yeah, like the water was really bad. He would just show me samples of the water he took, and it's like toilet water. People drink for all that shit. Team of workers makes 400 units of a product, which is sold in the market for $10 each. The accounting department reports that for this job, the actual costs are $400 for labor, $1,000 for materials, $300 for overhead. How do we get that? Now this is called multi-factor productivity, right? You gotta take several different factors, you add in all this extra information. County department said 1,000 for materials, 300 for overhead, 400 for labor. So here we're looking at 400 units multiplied by $10 per unit, at 4,000. Looking at $400 for labor, 1,000 for materials, 300 for overhead. This shouldn't be difficult to calculate. Basically, you took this, multiplied these by this, looked at the bottom of the statement, multiplied those together. 4,000 divided by 1,700, 2.35 as a, what you call a value of output in the multi-factor productivity. And all we're doing is using that information and those measurements to go up to against competitors within the market, so that we can either assess that we're leaders or we're not leaders, we're efficient, we're inefficient, things like that. Time is it? 48? Time is it?
48.
Okay. Well, in there. It's Friday. Questions? Somebody have any questions about anything? Ask Mr. Ross anything. Oh, the project? The group project?
Is that a valid question? I don't know. That may seem like pocket watching.
Alright, yeah, because I think it's, was it next week?
Yes.
It may be like
I won't see much
selecting
room for you.
group projects to work in. So what I'll do is I'll send an announcement over the weekend about that. To also clarify like what matches
Rolexes aren't
facilities
expensive watches.
versus
You know, it says
like.
Rolexes aren't expensive
But there's a
watches.
little bit
There's
of
no watch,
editing that
no,
needs
just
to go.
7,000 on everything.
Don't worry about it yet, you know. Right now, you guys have your discussions up there, I saw those. But the group project, when we reconvene on Wednesday, we'll talk more about it in person. But I'll send a message over the whiteboard over the week, to kind of clarify. So I'll put it in simple terms for you, like, this is what we got to do. No class Monday, don't forget. Anything else?
Shout out to my kid.
Are you guys enjoying my French students, how are you enjoying? How long have you been here? In America?
Yeah. We did not.
Oh, okay. What do you think so far?
Actually, good.
It's good. I love France. And who all here has been to France? You been what part? Paris? Paris is beautiful. Paris is beautiful. Nice is, I like Nice. Nice is nice. I bet some other places, but we'll talk about that. All right, you guys, have a good weekend. Enjoy yourself.